We are now 2 years away from the tragic death of Kobe Bryant. By now, we all know the life he lived and the legacy he has both on and off the courts. And I think now we all know what it means to really have the Mamba mentality instilled in all of us. Today, I want to reflect on what we have learned from the Mamba and how his impact can still be felt years after his very last step on the court. I still remember when I first heard the news. Back then, I was in some higher level Madden leagues where I used to play at a somewhat sort of competitive level. I had just finished up a game and I was catching up on the league's chat. That is why I heard some guys started talking about how Kobe died in some sort of accident. Some guys were saying it was, some guys was saying it was fake. I didn't believe it first because why would I? I even googled it and the only things that they were talking about was how Kobe congratulated LeBron the night before, as LeBron had passed his career points total. A few more people started saying it in the chat, so eventually I decided to turn on the news. Just then I switched on to NBC and they had just been switching over to another story with a breaking news headline. It was announced that there was a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. Bryant was believed to be on that helicopter, and later it was announced that his daughter Gigi was there as well. 2 days later, the identities of Bryant and the 7 other victims were announced. What followed was both tragic, but one of the most beautiful moments in sports history. Throughout the day, we had heard many heartfelt speeches and stories of those who were around Bryant. Seeing the impact that he had on his teammates, his coaches, those who were around the league, it was almost heartwarming in a way. Who doesn't remember someone like Shaq? Someone who had publicly feuded with Bryant both on and off the court, just watching him cry and watching the things that he had to say about him. Watching teams around the league as they took a 24-second shot clock violation, an 8-second backcourt violation, seeing Trae Young change his number to the number 8, watching many others who were inspired and knew Kobe personally like Devin Booker trying to hold back tears in the middle of a game. It was beautiful that we were able to come together and recognize not only are we bigger than basketball, but how this sport connects hundreds of thousands of people all thousands of miles apart from each other. How one person, how one legacy can connect all of us and we can really be together. Seeing these larger than life men struggle in missing Bryant the same way that I did, it was special and it kind of hit on a different level. One way or another, I think we all learned something during that day and during those moments afterwards following the death of Kobe. Whether it be finding your own Mamba mentality, what drives you, what it means to be truly passionate about something, the fragility of life, the humbling of our heroes. For me, the lesson that I learned is what it really means to hate on a player. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you would know that I am a lifelong Phoenix Suns fan. I'm pretty sure saying beat LA were my very first words coming out. Naturally, as a Suns fan, Kobe was the enemy, the one rivaling and often besting our iconic teams of the 2000s. So what did I do? I hated him. I thought he wouldn't win on his own. I followed the memes of Kobe can't pass, won't pass, was a choke artist, or whatever kind of mindless criticism you want to place onto him. As time went on and I became not just a fan of the Suns, but a fan of the sport itself, that was only when I started to really appreciate what I had once hated. But after his Achilles tear, it was clear that there was only so much time he had left in his career. While I was lucky enough to witness his final game and that legendary moment, I missed the career that had made that moment just so special. Sure, I could go back and watch it on YouTube, but the events such as the 2010 NBA Finals don't carry the same gravity now as they did when you're watching it in the moment. The lesson that Kobe has taught me is to quit hating on and to appreciate players and their iconic performances in the moment. Who knows how many legendary performances and moments I was simply just too ignorant to watch. And I can't help but be a little hurt when I still see players today and they still receive that same hate. Every time you hate on a Durant, LeBron, Curry, Harden, you miss another iconic performance or another important part of basketball history. And I would tell you that I would give anything to just be able to watch one of those Kobe moments there live. The moment we hate on the players, the moment we hate on their performances and spend all of our time trying to tear them down, it's more that we miss. And it wasn't until the end of his career where I truly became a fan, and by then, it was just too late. Well, of course we should still be critical of the players. I mean, of course that's what my channel is. It's important to know the difference between being critical of someone and hating someone. You never know when someone's career is just going to end in a moment due to an injury, and you never know when even something more tragic will happen. So while there may have been many things that I've learned about Kobe and many lessons that I have taken in ever since learning about him and becoming just a bigger fan of his, hating in the moment is the one thing that is the biggest lesson that I've heard, that I have learned, and that is the one that I am trying to spread to the most people. If you truly like this sport, don't try and just nitpick every little thing or hate on a player for ridiculous reason, because you never know when that player is gonna gone. And don't want anyone else to ever miss those kind of performances. Alright guys, this was a quick video, but this was the lesson that I learned from Kobe Bryant. This is part 1. I will be coming out with a part 2 a few days later. I will be coming out with a part 2 a few days from now, which is going to be talking about the same theme, but specifically surrounding Kevin Durant and his era in Golden State. Stay tuned for this one, and I'll catch the rest of you guys later.